everyone, and today we're going to be talking about logs. No, not that type. Alright, we'll be talking about logs. Maybe I should have said logarithms, because that's what logs is short for. So logarithms, the inverse of the exponential function, actually have the inverse of adverse effects. They can be used in so many ways. Logarithms can be used for interest rates. So you'll invest X number at a Y% interest. Alright, well, logarithms can actually be used with the Richter scale. So it uses the base 10 log, which is also the most common log used. So 4.0 is 10 times a 5, or actually 10 times less than a 5.0 on the Richter scale. And 5.0 is 10 times less than a 6.0, and 6.0 is... Uh-oh. Did you hear that? Alright, slide rules. Yeah, they're like calculators, but analog. Mine's broken for some reason, I'm not too sure why. Maybe it had something to do with that recent natural disaster. They can be used for multiplication and division, and they actually were brought on the Project Apollo space missions. They got a man on the moon. It's crazy. And space shuttles themselves, when they're launched or when they're falling, they actually use logarithms. Logs are also used with the pH scale, so with acids and bases. So if you're in bio, you know what that means. H+ ions. They're tiny. But for those of us in chem, another way to think about the use of logs is that a H+ ion is 1 times 10 to the negative 7th power moles of hydrogen ions per liter of water. That's a tiny number, and it's so hard to process when presented in that form. So using logs helps us process it. And decibels are sounds that we hear. Actually, I'm being tracked on how many decimals I'm speaking with right now. I'm at about 15 to 20, I'd say. More like 5 to 20. Camtasia is tracking me, and decibels use a base 10 scale. Moving on, the first logarithm tables were published in 1614 by Scottish mathematician John Napier. And we're still learning about today, which shows how important they are. Or the quality of an image can be changed using logs. Each pixel of an image is replaced by its logs to make it appear clearer. So what's the takeaway of all this? Well, for one thing, logarithms help us to understand large and small numbers and put them in our own lives. And it is true that computers have replaced the use of logs to an extent. Like, look at what you're doing right now. You're using a computer. However, logs still help us process things in the real world. In a dire situation, it may be much easier to realize that the acid burning a hole in your clothing is actually at pH 1.1 instead of some insanely high number you can't process in that exact moment. Oh no, did I spill something again? No need to panic. It's at 7, neutral. Whew.